All right, guys, you know what time it is. We have another martial arts film, so let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for The Prosecutor movie review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. The Prosecutor, yes, baby, yes, yes, yes. And this is also part of the Well Go USA Entertainment distribution. This is their YouTube channel right here. And guys, I was really looking forward to this film right here as soon as I saw the trailer. It is being described as a legal drama, action, and thriller. And guys, it's being directed by Donnie. He's not only starring in the film, but he's also directing the movie. And if we scroll down, of course, a lot of people in the States knew of Donnie when Yip Man came out in 2008, but a lot of people knew about him well before that. I mean, he's been acting and doing stunts and martial arts for years. But, you know, I'm a big fan of Donnie. He's the actor. He is the director of this film, so you knew I would be on top of this. Also, another co-director is Ho Pong Mak. Now, I haven't heard of him before, but if you look at his credits, these are some of the films that he's been a part of. If you've seen any of these, Breakout, Brothers 2, 3, and the first one, please let me know down in the comment section below. But like I said, my expectations for this was super duper high. I did react to the trailer if you want to go see that. I am a big fan of Donnie. He can do no wrong, and I want to see this. I don't mind reading subtitles and all that. I mean, I love martial arts. Donnie is great. You combine those, I'm here for it. So before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film, The Prosecutor, is all about. A poor young man is wrongfully charged with drug trafficking after being deceived. An ex-prosecutor investigates the case, uncovers a corrupt lawyer team scheme, and restores justice despite obstruction from evil forces. Now guys, the first thing that I loved about this film is the intro. I think within like the first 30 to 45 seconds, they're already kicking ass and beating the hell out of each other. And to be honest with you, I say this with no exaggeration or hyperbole, this is one of the best action scenes I've ever seen. Now, I don't want to go as far as saying it's the best, but it is up there. It is high ranking. I was blown away. And what I like about it is the way this scene is put together. We've seen it before, but not executed this way. I love the approach of how they mix martial arts action with police storming a building, but also kind of combining that in a video game first-person shooter. The closest thing I can remember to that off the top of my head is Bad Boys 4. In the climax at the end, the ending battle scene, there were a number of first-person shooter camera shots. It's the same thing done in this film, but in my opinion, better, but also combined with martial arts. Of course, Donnie kicking ass. And what they do with the camera, not only in this first scene, but throughout the whole film, is just things that I've never seen before. Because in some points, they do show you the action, they show you the fighting, but they don't show it to you at the same time. And that kind of gets you at the edge of your seat. Like, okay, oh my gosh, what's happening? Zoom in or pan around the corner. Now, don't get me wrong. You're not frustrated or mad like, oh my gosh, why are you not showing me what's happening right now? That's just like two select scenes. But again, the way that it's executed just makes you want more. And it's just kind of just a different perspective of action that you've never seen. And I can always appreciate that. You can tell that a true to the heart martial arts fan was behind all of the choreography. I mean, it is tight and they make sure that they don't miss a beat, whether it's punching, kicking, shooting someone in the foot, throwing a 2x4 across the room and timing it perfectly so you knock out 2 or 3 people instead of one. The way they use police shields, the way they use police helmets, the way they are sliding across the floor or saving a colleague from getting their head blown off by pulling them down and a bullet flying over their head at the last split second. All of that is like, oh my God, I'm not exaggerating. After I watched the first scene, I rewound it twice because I just wanted to watch it again. I didn't wait until the movie was over with. I was like, no, I want to see this again right now. And then you put in the sound effects. Oh my gosh, chef's kiss. It's just beautiful. It is a love letter to martial arts fans and action enthusiasts. You will not be disappointed with this opening scene. And then you have Donnie Yen at the center of it. I mean, goodness gracious, you already love Donnie Yen as an actor. I don't think you would be watching this review if you didn't, but this opening scene makes you just appreciate his character and just his acting ability that much more. You instantly are rooting for this guy, just besides him being the titular character in this film, because the way that he sacrifices himself to achieve justice and also help out those colleagues of his that he does not want to get hurt, that he wants to protect, that he wants to make it home to their loved ones. You just have an instant respect for him, and I'm just like, I'm all over it. I still got to talk about this opening scene because it was just so great, and it just has this visceral feeling to it that you just can't help, that you feel like you're actually in the action. If you have the opportunity, watch this in the theater. But if you have to watch it at home the way that I did, please turn your volume all the way up. If you have surround sound, if you have speakers, if you have a sound bar, crank it up as loud as you can. If you're in a house, if you're in an apartment, of course, be mindful of your neighbors. But the sound mixing, the sound design in this film is perfect. Like, real talk, it deserves recognition. You can hear grains of dirt hitting the ground. It's just that impactful, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. Also, a lot of films, a lot of television shows, when they're trying to come across as a martial arts action show or a movie, they don't have the best choreography, so they try to hide it with a bunch of quick shots and quick edits and quick cuts and things of that nature. That is not the case here as well. They have a ton of wide shots. They have a ton of long shots without any cuts or edits either. You will easily see what's going on, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. Another great thing is we've seen everything in this movie before. We've seen hand-to-hand fights. We've seen weapon fights, knives, guns. We've seen car chases and dog fights and people running through parking garages. We've seen all that before. In this film, it's nothing new. But again, what is new is the execution, the way that they are able to pull off all these stunts and pull off all this choreography and pull off all these shots. It is next level, real talk. It really just goes to show how talented Donnie Yen is when it comes to choreography, when it comes to directing, because not everybody can do this, okay? They just couldn't. Some of the most basic things in the action movie are put in this film. The way that they have some of these shots in this action is choreographed. It should be taught in film school. Real talk. If you are an aspiring director, filmmaker, and you want to put together a project that you know fans will love for this type of entertainment, study this film. Hit up Donnie Yen if you want to. I promise you, you will learn a lot, because I know I did. Also, guys, I care deeply about the characters, not just Donnie Yen, but the people that he's trying to protect as well. In the synopsis that I read before the review started, I talked about a young boy that got convicted for a crime and he's innocent. I really felt sorry for him. I also felt sorry for the grandfather and also other victims in this film that was the result of corruption. I mean, it's horrible. And some of the people in this world are just evil. They don't give a damn. They are selfish as hell, and they only care about themselves, the bottom dollar, or making a profit. It's just rather disgusting. And it really does. This also, guys, this is based on a true story. So I want to let you know that at the end, they revealed that a lot of this happened towards the end of 2023 in December. And usually when it comes to true stories, when they're told, the movies are usually good. I can't remember the last time I watched a movie that was a true story or a show and I was like, okay, that was horrible, I didn't like it. It may have not been the best, but I still appreciated learning more about the story and the history and all that goes behind it. So with that being said, it actually makes you care that much more about the characters, since they are real, and motivates you even more to fight for justice or just cheer on the characters in this movie that are doing so. Now, I want to let you know, guys, what this film is not. It's really difficult for me to say that this is a martial arts film. I don't really think it is. I don't think it's fair to categorize it that way. I will say that it does have action and it does have adventure. And when you go over and you look at IMDb, it's being described as a legal drama, action, and thriller. Now, with me saying legal drama right here, I'm not saying that this is a courtroom proceeding, that they spend majority of the time in court, because no, that is not the case. There is a lot of time in court, and it may be a bit boring for some in the very beginning when you get to around the 25-minute to 45-minute mark, because at that point in time, there's just like no action. It's just setting up the case, setting up the trial, presenting evidence, cross-examinations, etc. But this is not a courtroom proceeding, but there is a lot of court, but I want to let you know that, but it's just hard to say that this is a martial arts film, even though it is sprinkled throughout. I will say I wished it was a bit more, and I will talk about that later towards the end of this review when we get to some things that may have not worked out the best in my opinion. And I also say that to say is like, look at this, guys. Right here, it does say legal drama action thriller, okay? But if you look at other Donnie Yen films like Yip Man, it actually says Kung Fu, martial arts. It says that on Yip Man 4 as well, Kung Fu martial arts. Why doesn't it say that for The Prosecutor? Seems like there's martial arts in the trailer. Yeah, there are, but I mean, Donnie Yen in this film, he is not a Kung Fu master. He is not necessarily a martial arts expert. That wouldn't make sense given the plot story of the film and where his characters come from. And again, this is based on a true story. He is a cop. He is a prosecutor that knows how to fight very, very well and kicks a lot of butt. And another thing I like about this film is not only does he kick butt, but Donnie Yen's character also gets his butt kicked. He doesn't win every fight in this movie. He doesn't. Sometimes he is saved by the bell by, I'm not going to tell you right now because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but that just makes it even that much more realistic. This isn't like the 10 Tigers of Quan Chi or the Tai Chi Master or Sakura to where he's going around doing dragon palm blasts, hitting people in the chest, making them fly across the room. That wouldn't make any sense. And again, this is based on a true story. But it's always nice to see your heroes get their butt kicks just a little bit because it just grounds everything and just makes it more relatable and realistic, like I said. But going back to Donnie Yen's character, you like him because just like Goku, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, he doesn't give up. This guy will fight for justice. He wants to be a cop and do as much as he can to put criminals away, and he can only go so far with that. He's like, okay, I'll just transfer to the Department of Justice and become a prosecutor. And I liked it. I respect it. I mean, he just will not give up no matter what the odds are and how they are stacked against him. He is going to find a way. And of course, I want people like that in my life all the time. And also a great thing about this film is it just kind of just goes to show the level of corruption all the way down to a street cop to the top levels of the Department of Justice. Unfortunately, everybody not good in this world, and people will manipulate and just take advantage of the system for their own personal gain. That's all in this movie, and I like that it was put on the forefront, even though we already kind of knew that. There was also one scene to where I took it back and I just laughed my ass off because with all the action, with all the adventure, with all the fighting in this movie, and highly elected officials, Department of Justice, all of that, sometimes all the rules and regulations and laws don't matter. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm just sick of your mouth right now. Let's just throw all these papers away, put up your dukes, let's fight and fight it out. I mean, there's just no other way that we can resolve this. I laughed at that scene. I really enjoyed it. It did tickle me on the inside. When you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because it kind of comes out of nowhere. The villains in this film were decent. Every time you have a movie or a TV show like this, you always have to have a scene to where you just show how evil, sinister, and diabolical the villains are, how far they will go to get their drugs, their money, their sex, or to accomplish their goal. And that was executed pretty well too. I wish we would have spent a little bit more time with the villains, but I did like them. When I was watching this movie, I was saying to myself, okay, these are people that I never want to meet. These are people that I never want to cross. And if I have to make deliveries to them, not only am I going to be on time, I'm going to be early because I don't want them to do to me what they did to people in this film. But man, like again, when it comes to that action, the beginning was great. I did like a couple of chase scenes as well. And another thing about the action that I like is not just the hand-to-hand fighting, but the way that the characters use all of their surrounding environment to their advantage, whether it's a wall, a truck, a 2x4, a knife, pole, bucket, whatever. I mean, they're like ninjas. Everything around you is at a character's disposal in this film, and I like it. And then when you put in that good old camera work what they did, it's just like, man, this is really some nice pulsating action and I can't get enough of it. And I know we all remember playing video games in the early 80s and 90s. And at the end, there was always that level 10 final boss mode. Seriously, when it came to the climax of this film and they showed who Donnie Yen had to fight, I would not be surprised if I go over to IMDb and the character's name is level 10 final boss. Seriously, and he had speaking roles too. So he may have a credit. I'm not gonna look because I'm pretty sure that's not his name. But if that was his name on IMDb or in the credits, that would be an accurate statement, and I would love this movie that much more. But guys, those are the things that I really did like about the film. Now let me just transition to some things that just didn't work out for me the best. This movie is in Cantonese. You do have to read subtitles, and that's never been a problem for me all my life. I have been watching subtitle material since I was a child, like a lot of us are that likes this stuff. But the subtitles in this movie were populating and going away way too fast. Like the fastest I've ever seen. I could not read everything in the time allotted. If I were to watch this movie in theaters, I would be screwed. I probably wouldn't know what was going on or be able to follow the plot entirely. I watched this at home. I was able to watch it on my computer. I also plug it up to my TV downstairs as well and hit pause and backspace or go back a few 10 seconds to read what was going on. Again, if I was in theaters, I would be screwed. And so I don't know if they can in the future leave the subtitles up that much longer, but it would definitely help. Another thing I really care about this film is I thought the ending was rushed. I wanted a little bit more. They did wrap it up, but they just kind of condensed it down and like, okay, and this is what happened to this person, this is what happened to this person, this is what happened to this person. No, that's not enough. We have been following these characters all throughout this entire movie. We see how disgusting they are, how villainous they are, etc. I want to see their response, their reaction to them getting busted, not just through a montage sequence, but through some verbal cues, some acting or something. But it was just no audio at all, just a montage that kind of rushed through. And this is what happened to these people right here. I'm not a fan of that. You don't have to go through every character and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, let me out, or whatever. It's just like, it was just rushed through. I really didn't care for it. I wanted them to spend a little bit more time there because let's just say we have an evildoer that takes advantage of children, takes advantage of women, kicks puppies, kills people, murders people, all this stuff. I don't want them just to die. Me personally, I want them to spend the rest of their life rotting in a cell in prison or something like that. But that's just me, so I'm not gonna say that justice was not served in this film. It was, but I just wanted to see more of a response from the people that were taken down at the end of this film. And also, I kind of feel like there was a small plot hole or two towards the end. One of the reasons I said it is, and this is not really a spoiler, because towards the end, they reveal that a lot of these incidents took place in December of 2023. If I was reading what I saw on the screen correctly. But then they had a recap where they said, yes, and this one villainous character that was captured and put in prison, he committed another crime 8 years later. Well, that would be like 2031 and we're in 2025, so maybe I don't understand that. And then there was a witness in this film that revealed something about evidence. And I was just kind of like, wait a minute, you had this evidence the whole time? Why didn't you bring it up before? That doesn't make any sense. So maybe I missed that. But other than that, guys, I really did enjoy this film. Again, just make sure you tell your expectations. Know that there's a lot of action, but I don't want to categorize this as a martial arts film, even though you do have some choreography, because there was this one scene in the subway and the way that they executed a death with a knife, I was like, ooh, that was my reaction. Ooh, I mean, again, we've seen knife fights before, but they really did pull out the pen and paper and like, okay, how can we choreograph this the right way that will make people, when they watch it, go, ooh, and they did. So I will go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end. But for now, guys, that is just my opinion. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up, leave a comment. A subscription would be greatly appreciated, and also share the video. Okay, I'm trying to reach 75,000 by the end of 2025, and I can only do that with your help. So hit that subscribe button. And now if I had to rate The Prosecutor out of a 1 out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yes, an 8.5 out of 10. But guys, again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, let me know in the comment section if you want me to review more Well Go USA films. But I'm B. Avery. That's just my opinion. Peace. And I'll see you next time.